Well, this is the day the Lord has made, and we're here to rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to the Hope TV. You're here with us for our seventh episode of Marriage Matters. Yeah, seventh episode of Marriage Matters. And if you've been blessed by Hope TV, won't you call a friend, call a relative, call a neighbor, let them know that Marriage Matters is back on the airways. We started our first Hope TV broadcast on March 19th. It was called Pastoring in a Pandemic, and we just thought it was going to be one show. And I'm sure we all get on your nerves now because it's grown from one show to 18 shows every week. And our team is just incredible. Fortunately, I don't have to do all the shows myself. I got a great staff, a great team, great ministers and ministry coordinators. So, I mean, who would have ever imagined that one broadcast on March 19th will now turn into 18 broadcasts a week that's touching between 50 to 100,000 people per show. So it's amazing. And I know I'm getting on your nerves with this, but yeah.
So over it.
Yeah,
So over it.
yeah, we all are, and it's been amazing though because I'm working harder now than I was before the pandemic got started. But it brings us joy to try to bring some encouragement. And so if you're watching, if you're not followed us on social media, you can follow us on all things social media at the Hope TV. You can subscribe to the Hope TV YouTube channel. You can like the Hope TV Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope. So please pause where you are. I like it. And if you're watching, let us know where you're watching from. Some of your people, some of our folks watching from back home. Macon, GA, shout out to the 478 that's watching. Thank y'all for tuning in today. And those who are watching in from a city and a state, please let us know where you're watching from or which country you're watching from. This is amazing because how God works. Because actually, Andre and the Women of Hope were working on their Women's Weekend for months, really going back to last year, and decided to do something for Women's Weekend. What we call it, Women's Weekend? Women's Week.
Unstuck women.
Yeah, Unstuck Women's Week. That was actually the first full weekend in March. And they've been working on this for months and decided that on the Wednesday of the Unstuck Women's Week that they do, Andre will host about 10 couples who would come and tell their stories. So on Wednesday night, on March 8th, it was actually, she kind of led that conversation. Letice Reynolds, shout out to her, Loretta Reed, Pastor Sharice Cross. So they put it together. It went so unbelievably well. And I think of you, Vanna White, that night, Oprah, Gail, Phil Donahue, you all them, Sally Jesse Raphael. And she kind of hosted that night. And the response to it was so amazing that people have, say, well, can you continue it? So it was a real natural segue because we hadn't done anything couples in a long time. I think you've been doing some women's ministry stuff. So, but for her to do that was powerful. So here we are. It was like it was preparation for this. And she's amazing. She's incredible. So thank God for Women with Hope and for Andre putting this together back in March because it's brought us to this time. So anything you want to say to the people?
No, I'm just glad you guys are tuned in and we have a lot more in store for you.
Yeah, so we want to welcome our guests. We got some incredible couples here. One couple is unique to our church. The man of God is a minister. Hails to us from Memphis, Tennessee, and of course he went to TSU. And his wife is a part of our staff. As a matter of fact, we love him very, very dearly. He actually leads our Ministers of Hope ministry there. He's the coordinator of our ministers. And he's also a pilot with an incredible story. His wife works in mental health and she works in business management. She's an organizer. They have a beautiful family. And we want to welcome Brian and Matrice Harris, Minister Brian and Matrice Harris, to what's going on, family? Y'all doing good?
How y'all doing?
Good to see y'all, man. That's an ugly shirt, but still, I'm glad to have you here with us, Brian. God bless you. And then last but not least, we have with us another wonderful couple who actually you chose them to be on the Unstuck Women's couple. And we've seen them grow and seen them get married. We were there when they hooked up. I can't wait till y'all hear that story. And he's got roots back in the 4782. What's up, 478? And his lovely wife, they met at church. Don't want to tell you the story, but a beautiful family, beautiful couple. Jay works in security. He works in management. His wife works as an educator, very, very smart. Have 3 beautiful children, and we're glad to have them here with us tonight as well on Marriage Matters. Jay and Ebony, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Hey, we're good.
This is the Atkins family. Like that
That
shirt, bro.
time.
All right. So we welcome everybody to Marriage Matters. We're gonna start. I want to start tonight. We'll start with you, Jay and Ebony, because your story is so unique. Um, what was it? We started a men's league, basketball league.
Yeah.
Yeah, back
Jay
2000.
played for the whining team.
Yeah, back in 2011. Jay, at that time, Ebony was employed and ran our
Mhm.
media ministry. Did it for almost 10 years, and jack of all trades in the church came to help me build the ministry, and she was working for the church in administration at the time. And we started a men's league, sports basketball league. I was a coach, and of course, Jay played with the opposing team that we hated so much. And so tell this story. I want people to hear this story, how you guys met, because it's a beautiful story, and I want to start off with that story. So I don't know who's I don't know whose side I want to hear first. So Ebony, tell your side first, and I want to hear Jay tell the truth.
First and foremost, I am going to tell the truth, Pastor. So in 2012, Pastor started Hope Basketball, and I was voluntold that I would be working for the men's league, and we had been doing it for a couple of months, I think, at the time, and it was my job to keep the time. And so one day, it was halftime, and this idiot comes up and smacks the table and was like, "I know you see how many points I got. You can see how many points your boy got." And I was like, "Sir, I don't even know who you are." Like, it was so many men coming in. He was, I didn't know him, and so I was working with my girl Taji at the time, and I was like, "Taji, what was that about?" She was like, "Mm-hmm." So after the game, he came back to the table and, "Sir, can I help you?" And he was like, "I know you hungry. You've been here all day. You want some Zaxby cookies?" And Ty looked at me and she was like, "Is he talking about cookies or cookies?" So yeah, that's how we met. He had been coming to the church. I had never seen him at the church. And so it took the whole basketball league for us to meet. And that is the gospel. I wasn't thirsty and I wasn't looking.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's the truth or not. I wasn't there. I was coaching at the time. So Jay, I want to hear your side of the story, because Ebony said you hollered at her with offer some cookies from Zaxby's. Uh, and was that your line to get?
Well, first and foremost, it was not halftime. It was the end of the game, and I wanted to know how many points I had put on y'all. And I was going to get something to eat, and somebody was like, "Can you bring me some cookies?" So I was like, "Sure." And after them cookies, she had my points ready after every game. I never had to ask anymore how many points I scored. I just walked to the table. And, she was watching me then. So the rest is
So
Yeah, the rest is history.
so a couple things, Ebony. Number one, EJ. That's what I call it, EJ. Number one, you were voluntold. You said I never heard that term before, but I kind of felt some shade when you said it. So you were voluntold that you would be responsible for the basketball league. We had hundreds of men coming down
Yes,
there every weekend, right? And
yes, that is true.
I voluntold you to be down there, right? Did I do
Yes,
it?
yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
you did.
well, just know this: if you had not been voluntold and been obedient, you would have never met your husband. So you tell the Lord thank you, and tell God thank you for your pastor for voluntolding you to sign up at the gym. You know what's another thing beautiful? They got married.
They got married in the
Yeah.
gym.
So tell the story about y'all wedding. Because the other night, because they got married in December. They
In
got
the
married in
Yes,
gym.
December. Tell the story, because
yes.
that's beautiful.
So we got married at 11 a.m. on 12, 13, 14. I teach math, so I like numbers. So 11 a.m. on 12, 13, 14. And actually, where we stood and did our vows is like literally about not even a foot away from where we met, literally where I was keeping score, and where he first came up to me. Anyway, so yes, we got married in the gym where we first met and did a lot of our dating because I still had to be present and accounted for after being voluntold.
I got you. Jay, you told you want some milk and cookies. I got you. Go ahead on with your bad self. All right.
All right, Brian, you and Matrice, tell us your story. How you met, how you fell in love, and how you all got together.
All right. So we, as
So
Pastor,
he's gonna tell the PG story.
I'll tell the PG version.
Okay.
No, we're going to hit the rated R. No, tell me.
Please tell it.
So we both met at Tennessee State. We were at TSU for freshman orientation, and my best friend and I were walking to Gentry Center for the convocation, and he said, "You can have the one on the left." He was going to take the one on the left, and I was going to take the one on the right. And Matrice was the one on the right, and her cousin was the one on the left. But about it wasn't a week later, Matrice had a boyfriend, and they dated throughout the entire time we were in school. So our sophomore year, we took a class together, world history, and Matrice told me she had a dream about me, but she would never tell me what that dream was. So we did our own thing throughout college. Then I went to a club one night with some of my friends from my high school, and Matrice was in there with her cousin, who was a cousin on the left, and I asked her where Matrice's boyfriend was, and she told me they broke up. And so I asked Matrice to dance, and we went on the dance floor. We danced all night, exchanged numbers, and pretty much I was a little slow, so we didn't quite hit it off right after that. She got a little aggressive, which was the rated R version, and then I was hooked, and then so here we are, almost 20 years later, still in love.
Matrice.
What did you do, girl?
Matrice.
Yes,
I thought you were the quiet one.
I am the quiet one, but see, I had just gotten out of a relationship, so we dated a little bit. How do I want to say it? We were just hanging out. Hanging out. Yes, all of a sudden, next thing you know, he was like, "You want to get married?" And I was like,
Oh,
"Okay." Like, yeah, we get married. So I was like,
20 years later.
Yeah, 20 years
Wow,
20
later.
years later.
Yeah.
That's
Brian, you stole her heart with those dance moves.
Yes. Yes.
And the only one who ever teach her was a son of a preacher man.
Evan and Jay, I want to talk to you about this for a moment because one of the beautiful things about your relationship is when you got together, Jay had a beautiful daughter. And I know when you initially started to date that was some adjustments on both your ends. But to see where you were when you got started and where you are now is absolutely beautiful. And I think that can be helpful for others who may be watching in terms of blended family. So can you tell us how you made that work in terms of putting that together in terms of as a family?
And can you start with how you guys did it at the wedding, how you included her in the wedding? Because I cried at that point. So
Yeah, I think everybody cried at that point, even me.
Andre cried? What?
Yeah, everybody was crying.
Wow. So I was asked to turn my sound down. Sorry. My bonus daughter is a daddy's baby, like for real, daddy's girl. And so even though there was an attraction there was not going to be any longevity if I could not get through to Genoa Elon Atkins. And so actually I think too, for somebody that wanted a family of my own, the kind of dad that he was part of the attraction. And so I couldn't get to him and be successful in any longevity if I could not get through to her. And so at our wedding, there was a part in the service where I presented her with a necklace and essentially vows to her to make sure that I would not replace her mother by any means. Her mother is a very wonderful person, but that I would compliment him and bring her in as my own because we didn't have children at that point. And so it was a special moment for us to say, hey, look, I'm here for the long run. And you're as much as part of this family and as a part of this package as he and I are. And I meant that. I was very sincere with it. And so I think even to her mother, that was a sign to her as well, that I was serious and that it wasn't going to be this child over here on the side or that ain't my baby. That ain't that. And once Genoa embraced me, that showed her mother too, because when we first met, she wouldn't look at me, she wouldn't speak to me. She was like, she would walk past me like I was furniture. And so yeah, so when she came to me and she gave me that first hug, I was like, oh, it's on, I got her now. And so yeah, she started spending the night and started, hanging out, and we got a great relationship.
So Jay, what did you do? How did you handle that? How did you navigate that? Because I think, sometimes that's with a single mother, sometimes with a single father, when you come together in the family. Most of the time it's a single mother who has to acclimate the man. And in this situation is you. How'd you navigate that? And what kind of insight would you offer to others who are in the situation that you were in?
I mean, for me, it was simple. We would do things like, me and Noah would meet up with Ebony, and maybe go get some ice cream or something. Just not in a house setting. You want to do something outside the house, and it's about just like she said, she can't replace her mother. And I got Noah to understand that. She was maybe about what?
She was 18 months old when we met.
So yeah, it was still early. But so she grew with us as the relationship grew. She got older. So, if those questions, came early, why aren't you at home with me and my mom? So, I think her growing at the same time helped all of us, figure it out. It was new territory to me, because Ebony is the first person I dated outside of her mom. So, again, the relationship is everything. Like you can't be with somebody for a long period of time and your child and that person doesn't get up. It will never work. Because some people might say, well, I don't have custody of that child, so I only see him. It'll never work, because the way I am, the way Ebony is, we family oriented. We got enough family that friends, if we didn't have no friends, we got enough family. I got a million cousins, and my mama had 10 brothers. It's a lot of us, and Ebony family is the same way. So I think just, prayer and making sure it works for you. Because if it didn't work for us, it's no sense of trying to force something that doesn't fit. But in this situation, we all grew together, so it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, I want to ask one more thing on that before we move. Because I remember Ebony early on too. It took some while for you to get adjusted, even with with Noah's mom. That wasn't smooth and beautiful at first, initially. So can you talk about that process and how you navigated to get where you are now?
Who you tried
it? They work together. They work at the same school, so they good now.
Everybody got them.
So talk about that, Ebony. How was that process?
Originally, unfortunately, and I don't think my bonus daughter's mom would deny it, there was a lot of baby mama drama, and it was unfortunate at the beginning. But I was consistent with my presence. I was consistent with my stance, And so once cooler heads started to prevail, she wanted to meet me and I wanted to meet her. I think anybody that's going to be around your child, especially your daughter, that was a given. And so we sat down at Zaxby's. We sat down. I just realized that. We sat down at Zaxby's. And we met and we just talked about, what her expectations were for her child and what she wanted and, the things that she has in place at her home and the things that I would be able to implement at our home. And what that would look like as far as consistency from home to home and from time to time. And so I think after that meeting, she saw my sincerity about her child. And it still took some time. It still took some growing and some learning on all of our parts and figuring it out. But yeah, we actually do work together currently. Out of all the schools in all the world, we work together. Yes, we do.
Wow,
That's
wow.
good.
Hey, Pastor, can I say something?
Yeah.
I also want to interject because we too have a blended family. And I have a 25-year-old daughter that I had at Tennessee State. And the previous girlfriend I had prior to Matrice, my daughter couldn't stand. So I knew that pretty much was not going to work. But one bit of advice I want to give to kind of help prevent baby mama drama, something that my daughter's mother and I were able to do. I knew that our relationship as intimate relationship was not going to work. So what we said was, we will be friends and we will raise our daughter together. And once you can do that and not give an expectation that can't be met of that you're going to be with that person, it has relieved a whole lot of stress in my life, a lot of stress in my daughter's life, a lot of stress in my wife's life. My daughter's mother and my Matrice talk all the time. My daughter loves Matrice. My family loves. We all get along. So it's just, if you know you're not going to be able to carry on in a healthy relationship and be committed to that one person, you guys need to come to understanding that we're not going to be together, but we are still going to work together to be parents for our child.
That's great.
While we're on that, Brian and Matrice, I want you all to talk about your story. How I know, like, people always see you the pilot, they see you as the minister, but they don't see the Brian that Matrice had to, kind of nourish and help along, You know what I'm saying, girl?
Yeah, you're Captain Harris.
Yeah.
Right. But
I'm
we
not
want
gonna
to
tell you,
hear
don't want
when
to
you
see
were
that
just Brian. So can
So
you
listen.
all talk about that story?
Yes, we'll talk about that. We would not be, I'm just going to be honest, we wouldn't be married today if it were not for Matrice. Matrice has been, more than patient, more than understanding. I can't even put it into words. It's by Matrice's patience and the grace of God that how we even ended up at the House of Hope. I didn't even think I belonged in church. And then I kept seeing Pastor Smith on TV and I said, we're going to this church. So we came, it was in November. Then we came and we went to the New Year's Eve service. It was 12 caskets across
Right.
and all these hearses. And it was just, he did a illustrative sermon on Job. And it was just, I was like, this is where I need to be. Yeah. And every sermon that he preached, he was about us, talking to us. Yeah. And I still have some growing to do. I still have some growing to do, but I'm in a different place now. And if it were not for having the parents that she has and the parents that I have, who were great examples to this day, I've never seen my parents argue. Here I am, and they've been married for 50 years, never seen them argue. I'm 46. And I don't know too many people that can say that about their parents, but they have raised us to love one another and believe in God. And we put God first, and he continues to bless us. But this marriage is really anchored in Matrice because she is the one that has held it all together the entire time, pretty much the majority of this 20 years we've almost been married.
Yeah. So when did you make a decision that you wanted to be a pilot?
Oh, well, when I was in the 6th grade, my older brother said he wanted to be a pilot. And like most little brothers, you want to be just like your big brother. So I said I want to be a pilot as well. And I got involved in a program in Memphis called the Explorer Program, and we met at the Memphis International Airport every Monday night. And I went to Tennessee State, majored in aeronautical technology, but I'd never flown an airplane. I used to be a lifeguard in the summertime, and it was another lifeguard who was a pilot. And he said, "You want to go fly on the plane with me?" I went home and asked my dad. My dad said no, but I went anyway. So, and people ask me if I've ever been scared to fly. I said the only time I was scared is when I thought my dad might find out I went flying in the airplane. But I was glad I did because I fell in love with it. And graduated from Tennessee State, went to 2 flight schools, flight instructed. And to speak on family and how family supports you, I said I wanted to be a pilot, but I necessarily didn't have all the finances. I didn't know any pilots. I didn't even know what to do. I just happened to see a pilot walking through the airport one day. I graduated from college. I was working in insurance. And I didn't go to school to be a pilot. And I said, "What do I need to do to get to where you are?" And he pointed me to a school in Florida called ATP. My parents took out loans to send me to school. But my wife was my girlfriend, Patrice, was in Atlanta, and I was in Florida. So I said, "Listen, I got to find me a school in Atlanta." But I had pretty much used up all the money for school. So I found a school in Atlanta. I said, "I'm going. I don't care what it's going to take." So they accepted me. And one day I didn't have the money to go, but I had a checkbook. I wrote a check. I wrote a $6,000 check, took it to the school, started school, came back home. I told my wife, I was like, I wrote this check for $6,000, and she told me, she said,
You're going to jail.
"You're going to jail."
And it's a felony.
So I was just determined to be a pilot. I didn't think anything about it. So we were at that time living with her father and his wife, and she left the room, went down the hallway, had a conversation with her father, and she came back in the room with a check for $6,000. And I took the check, went to school the next day, and I wrote the check out of the wrong account, so I need that check back. Here's the check, and the rest is history. And the rest is history. People see me now, but I had to work. I was working 3 jobs. I worked as a server and a bartender at a restaurant called Houston's. I was flying airplanes. I was doing presentations in elementary schools. My first airline job, I made $19.02 an hour. It was below poverty, but I pressed my way on with the support of my wife, with the support of my family, with the support of her father, and was able to get to my dream job where I am now at FedEx. And she's held it down because I'm gone a lot, and she just makes it happen. It seems like everything breaks or something goes wrong as soon as I leave. So it's like I'm gone for a week at a time, and she has to just handle it. And that she does. She's strong for our daughters who are here watching her. She doesn't break down. She just does it so they see that, you can do this. But when I come home, I gotta, love on my baby and take care of her and pamper her because she's held it down when I was gone. And it really takes a team. If it was not, and she didn't even like to fly airplanes. She didn't like to fly at all. But it just takes a team. And if you can't work together as a team, it's not going to work out.
Matrice, let me ask you this. How did your dad feel, number one, about you? You're married, but you're living with him. And now you come and say, "Dad, my husband needs $6,000 for tomorrow." How did you get your dad to go along with that?
I'm going to be honest with you. I am a true daddy's girl. Okay. And he makes it happen. So I remember walking down the hall and I told him, I said, "Daddy, Brian's going to jail." I said, "He's written this check and he needs the money for school." And my dad saw the determination in Brian, and he knows he's a good guy. He loves Brian. And so He gave me the check. And so I walked down the hall and told Brian, here you go. So yeah, I mean, he just believed in him, you know, and so did I. And like I said, I am a true daddy's girl. So
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
We talk about this whole family support. Ebony and Jay, one thing that I love about you, both of you, so much, is that the same thing Matrice and Brian just talked about. I seen it in you. Most recently, a couple of weeks ago, you know, Jay, you're here, and we're supposed to be doing something together, and you get word that your mom is sick down there, Albany, and you got to stop what you're doing in the middle of the pandemic, get down to Albany to try to take care of her. Ebony's here holding everything down. Just talk about that, man. You know, how that made you feel in this season, because both of you have been there for each other. But I want to hear about that, Jay, what you just gone through recently with your mom.
Can't hear him.
Keep going.
Okay, so I was actually going to pick Deuce up and bring him back because he was down there for the summer, and I just noticed that my mom wasn't my mom. So that next morning, I took her to the hospital, and you know, we get to the emergency room, and you know, that's when they had down in where she is. They had started only one person in, so she said, well, she has to go in by herself. So I'm sitting outside of the emergency room. 4 or 5 hours later, they like, oh, they got to keep her. Long story short, she was in there till Thursday, diagnosed with congestive heart failure. So it's like, what do I do? I'm the only child. So I ain't have no brother, no sister to call. It's just my mom and dad in the house. So it immediately was like, oh, what am I going to do? Like, I got kids, the wife in Atlanta, my mom is sick. You know, I don't want everything to have to take on everything at the house. It was a very dark place. So, you know, we had a conversation, and, you know, she's one to not mix words. So she said, I got this, stay there, take care of your mama. You're the only child, you're all she gets. So that has really helped. And the fact that this pandemic is going on, I wouldn't say it's perfect timing. It worked because right now I'm not working. Because of what I do, ain't nobody playing no ball right now. So, you know, the time off, still able to, you know, have some type of income and know that the kids are good. It's really, you know, it was a blessing. Because I mean, I could be at work. I mean, it's baseball season, soccer season. I barely see my own family during those 2 seasons. So it's been a blessing in disguise for me. Because if my mom was sick and everything was normal, it'll be very, very, very tough. Very tough. She's 3.5 hours away, so it works.
Wow.
So, Ebony, let me ask you this. How are you guys adjusting to everybody being in the house like all the time? And you're having to teach online. You have 2 babies, not just little, you know, you have like a 1-year-old, and, you know, it's like, how are you guys adjusting? And how are you able to even sit down and do this series?
Right.
Well, all jokes aside, Tamisha and Terrell, a couple talked about having a village, and no longer having my mom make me had a village, but I was the kind of, and I still am in my core, don't worry about it, I'll figure it out, I got it. But this season, again, kind of puts back another sick parent, and I have to use my village. I have to rely on the people that have shown and my best interest at heart. And so, yes, I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old who take after. And so they wake up on G-O. They wake up like, what? So what we getting into? And they are all boys, like seriously. So I'm surprised I don't hear them yelling and screaming, because we kind of do. So they're in the room with their BB watching a movie. I don't know how much longer they might streak through here, but naked in a few minutes. I don't really know. And so it's been difficult. It's really been hard. Because in teaching, I would work 10, 11-hour days. And so, they would be the first dropped off at the school and the last picked up, because Jay and I's schedules are so crazy. So the blessing is it gives us a lot of time together that we would have normally not had. But boy, keeping these bad boys entertained is not for the faint of heart. Yesterday, I put on Facebook, I had a live lesson. I had it on my home office, which is on the bed in my room. And BJ tried to jump head first off the bed. Deuce pulled him back by the leg. Then one of them knocked the laptop off on the floor. But we are happy and whole and some work looking on sometimes. But we're here.
That's good. But Matrice, Brian mentioned something earlier I think is real helpful in that same vein. He's a pilot, and teaches pilots, and he's gone for sometimes weeks at a time. And he said, you got to hold it down. So you there with those girls, you there making sure that everything stays in order at the council center where you work. You're the main person that keeps everything together, administrate the whole place. So how is that navigating, keeping everything in order while your husband has to go and work? How do you manage to work, keep the girls, keep the house when he's gone weeks at a time?
And do you have the fear that, since 9/11, like every time he leaves on a flight, it makes you kind of think some kind of way. So, how do you navigate that as well?
I do. I fear I am the worrier of the two of us. Brian don't worry about anything. And I pray every time he leaves, but the girls and I try to stay on the schedule. Luckily for us, we have a 9-year-old, soon to be 10, and a 15-year-old. So, they're not as needy as they used to be, but yeah, we try to stay on the schedule, and they understand that daddy's working. It's just me. It's just us. So, just help me out. And they're really good with that. But I do worry. Like now, I send Brian with all these wipes, and Bailey's like, "Are you making more DIY wipes?" So I'm like, "Put your mask on, wipe." So yeah, I worry, but we get through it. And when he comes home, we all run to the door to greet him. But it's easier now that they're older, and that helps. And then my dad picks them up from school. He does homework with them, and so we make it work. We make it work.
Yeah, your dad is a real OG. Your dad is a real. He's a real deal.
Pastor, just my mother used to say, my mother's passed away, but my mother used to say, "You think your dad hung the moon, but I'm here to tell you he didn't." And I would say, "Are you sure? Because I think he hung the moon." And she would get so upset. But yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome.
That's great. We talk about this whole thing. Ebony, you've had to be there for Jay recently. As he's been trying to help his mom. But a couple of years ago, Jay had to be there for you, as your mom made her transition, and we walked all through that together, and it's still real fresh. But I want to hear about how you guys navigated that, because your strength through that has been Herculean. It's been the most. I'm so proud of you both, knowing the journey. How did y'all navigate that? Because you got people right there who got parents who are caretakers. Andre's mom is 85 now. Right, and so I'm scared. She's the only mom I got. So it's like, if somebody want to go to the house and see her, where y'all been? You been coughing? Because I don't play by. It's like now I'm overprotected because my mom been gone 4 years. So it's like, hold on, stay away. So it's just like I find myself being real anxious about her mom and making sure that she's good, whatever she needs. So how you guys navigate that? Because you got a lot of caregivers out there, couples who they're trying to maintain their family, their marriage, their kids, and they got to be a caregiver for a loved one. How you guys handle that?
I think because we went through what I went through with my mom, it makes me completely empathetic and maybe sometimes too forceful with him as he's going through this stuff with his mom. But Clemens said to me recently, it's not the plan, but it's God's plan. And so with Jay, there's no ball being played, and that's how my husband makes his living. But there's no time since we've been together that he's had this much amount of time. And he's like, I don't want to, the boys climbing on top of you. Hey, listen, like for real, it is stressing me out. But go. Don't worry about how long you need to be there. If it's 2 days and you good, if it's a week, you're good, because my village makes sure that I'm good. My village makes sure that, for example, Tanisha and Turo had the baby for a week so that I could, sit down and get my thoughts together and come back and, be a strong, supportive wife and a mother who ain't ready to. But anyway, so I've got my sister and my cousins who come over and play with the kids, and I go in the room and I close the door and sit there in the dark. But I think my village showed itself strong when I was going through that with my mom. And so it made it easier now that and it's not even remotely the same. But again, he is a mama's boy. He is the only child. And so it can ease his fear when he can go and just lay eyes on her. The difference was my mama was 15 minutes away. His mama is almost 4 hours away. So he can call her and he know that she don't sound good. Hey, okay, well, get in the car and go. Because even when I was working, the money hey, we'll figure it out. So the Lord will make a way. These lights ain't been cut off yet. And so just making sure that he understands it really is okay. We're not abandoned. He's not leaving us. And you ain't got but one mama. I know it. So that's important that he does what he needs to do for her. And so I don't have a single solitary regret about what I did and the time I spent with my mom when she first got sick to when we realized that she was going to beat this thing with her wings. I don't have any regrets, and I don't want him to have any regrets. If God forbid something turned for the worse and I should have went, I wish I could have gone. No, boo. Gas up, head on down the road.
And I think because we learned about Mama in July.
Yeah.
And it happened fast, but she 15 minutes away, so even before she got sick, that was our hangout spot. And we only had Deuce at the time. So, when I come home from work, I would always stop by, somebody was always there. And I think that is, kind of helping me navigate, signs I see and, just different things. I hate we had to go through that because, Sugar Mama it was only one Sugar Mama. So
absolutely
that we took we put on our brave face outside, but there was plenty of times in here we didn't know which way to go. And like I said, having a village, the people that's around us, really, you ain't got a village.
Get your
stuff.
Get your one.
Stuff.
That's true. It's so important that you have people who love and support you, the village that pushes you up and try to pull you down. And Brian, you went through something recently with your dad. Your dad, you and I talked about it. We prayed about it. He fought through cancer. I think he had more than one cancer diagnosis, I believe. Am I correct, Brian? Yeah. I know you just came.
That's correct.
Was it twice?
Yeah, my dad had.
I got it mixed up. I know he had cancer.
He did. He had early on. He had prostate cancer, and then recently, he had a softball-sized tumor on his stomach or his intestine, and but he fought through it, and he's doing real well. And my mom had beat breast cancer previously, so they just some praying people that pray about it and don't worry about it, and they just move right on and like ain't nothing even wrong. But I admire them for that because they don't wallow in sorrow. They just accept it, pray about it, and whatever the Lord's will is, they accept it, and but they don't not get it treated. They do treat it and go to the doctors, but I just admire how they fight through their adversity, and I had my wife there to support me and our entire family. My sister's a nurse, so she was able to make sure they both had the best care. So nobody's pulling any shenanigans in the hospital room with her, and that 'cause she's not nice like me. She cuts out the minute.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jay and Ebony, we get ready to close this one out, but I want you both what kind of words of encouragement would you give to couples right now? Jay, Ebony, if it's a teacher, somebody who's teaching and they're trying to figure out how to teach from home and take care of their families, or the family, Jay, you and your mom, how you navigating through this, Jay, when you're not working. So what kind of words of encouragement would you both give to the couples that are watching right now? Ebony first, then Jay.
Words of encouragement. I think during this time, communication is key. A lot of things that we would have maybe been able to avoid because one of us was headed out the door, one of us had somewhere else to go, has kind of forced us to be able to figure out how to really talk and be heard during this time. But also giving each other space, even inside this house. Just because we here don't mean we got to be all, together at the same time. Absence does make the heart go fonder. And so we still laugh, we still joke. When we put the kids to bed, we play a good game of Uno, which I won last night. So making sure that we do things as a family unit, but also remembering that I am still his wife and he's still my husband. And so making sure that we keep our marriage a priority as well.
Good. Jay, what would you say? Anybody? What you going through?
So when this first started, let's throw this fact. My wife told me 2 rates was going to go up. It was domestic violence or a divorce rate. So I don't know which one but seriously, this time really makes you really understand if you could be with somebody, because the fact that you can't go anywhere, like you just can't get up and say, oh, I'm leaving. Like I said, when it's normal life, I leave the house at 6:30 in the morning and I get home at 11:30, 12 at night, just depending on how long the Braves play. So I come home, the kids sleep, I leave the kids sleep. So for me, I'm actually getting back a lot of time with my boys that I would normally have at this time. And like I said, you just got to be creative. Because if not, you'll drive yourself crazy. My old tail went and bought a PlayStation. Just even though we in the same house, she know if I'm on the game, I'm hollering, fussing, cussing. Let me have that right there. And social media, she might be, so we find ways to distance, but as the same as you still have to have that family unit. So it's, if it's tough for you right now, encouraging words. If you can't make this, you might want to reevaluate your relationship, because that's just being honest. If you can't be stuck in the house with the person you married to, then that could be a sign. If things are normal, y'all always passing each other.
That's so true.
Yeah. Just make
and I know you're having a hard time, Jay, because you're a former athlete, and still play ball and football and basketball, and you made it to the Hall of Fame the last Braves game last year during the playoffs, when that man ran on the field and you went out there and tackled him and missed it. So you're a Hall of Famer, man. You are a Hall of Famer.
Hey.
So Brian and Matrice, the same for you all. Just give the couples that are watching and anybody in a relationship, how you handle those tough conversations and you know, how do you go from there to like making it work? Just some encouraging words.
Um, well, I mean, it is tough. I agree. If you can't make it through this, then you can't make it. So for us, we're really creative. We talk in the morning, talk, we, like Ebony said, communication is key. We have played every game from Sorry to Monopoly to Uno to Pity Pat. So we just get real creative. When Brian's home, he cooks from banana bread to grilling ribs. So we sit outside. And for us, we just moved into a new home. So it actually gave us the opportunity to unbox all the things that we brought from our previous home. But yeah, you really have to pray, and just try to communicate and make it fun. And and like Ebony said, even if you're in the house, well, let me go upstairs in the bonus room for a little while, let you do you, let you decompress, watch whatever you want to watch, and then we'll come back later. But yeah, it's hard. But yeah, if you love each other and you can make it through it. Just talk and be creative and put the kids to bed early, or and and go downstairs
I
and
told y'all she was the fast one.
and just hey, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Uh, I just want to say, communication is huge. What I've learned over these almost 20 years is you just don't know what your spouse or what the person you're dating, will accept until you talk about it. Just don't hold stuff in. Be as transparent as possible. I used to think intimacy was all about sex and kissing and hugging, but intimacy is being able to be naked inside and out, being able to share your innermost thoughts and not have those thoughts be used against you. So if you are a couple that's just starting out, try your best to just be open and honest with one another and work it out. We've been to counseling. Counseling does not mean everything is bad. Counseling just means you need another point of view. And sometimes you guys don't see eye to eye, but we've been able to make it, like I say, almost 20 years by the grace of God and by her patience. But during this COVID-19, like she said, we played every game. We've talked. We had a good time. I've cooked. I've gained about 20 pounds because I love to cook. I cook every day. She's not the
Me
cook. I'm the
too.
cook. She clean. She cleans. So we got to understand that I mess the kitchen up. She'll clean it up, but she eat all the food. She eat good. So it works out. We got a plan. As long as you guys know each other's strengths and weaknesses and play off those, you'll be all right. And last but not least, I should have said it first. If you keep God first and pray, you'll be all right.
For us to witness your stories and your journeys, we both respect both of you and appreciate you for taking your time just to come and share some of your journeys and the ups and the downs, the goods and the bad, because you're certainly a blessing. And we respect and love both of y'all. Y'all two of our favorite couples, and we just thank God for you.
Thank you.
And you said a lot of things that inspire us and inspire other people watching. A lot of people right now have been encouraged and inspired as a result of what you shared today. You want to say anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. And so those who've been watching today, I hope you've been blessed by this episode of Marriage Matters. Things are difficult for a lot of people. Marriages go through ups, they go through downs. Sometimes marriages make it, sometimes they don't. But as you're watching, you heard some good stuff about how you can fight for it, and if God be for you, you can get through it. And I just want you to know that even through these difficult times, you can be encouraged, have peace, have joy, and know that God will never leave us, nor will God forsake us. So I hope y'all encouraged today. Keep your head up. These are strange times, but with the help of God, we're going to get through it. We're closing this broadcast now, but as always, remember this: if you will be good to God, then God will be good to you. You've been watching Hope TV. Until next time. See you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye-bye. What's up, fam? I hope everybody's well today. I want to just come and have a conversation with you. As you know, the state of Georgia has done a reopening schedule, and phase 1 started on Friday. Phase 2 started yesterday. Restaurants now open, even though all restaurants aren't opening, but some are. Beauty shops, some theaters, and the malls are opening this coming weekend, May 1st. And while all this stuff is opening, family, HAC reported today that we've had 100 deaths in Georgia over the past 48 hours. In less than 48 hours, we had 100 deaths. So things are reopening, but our numbers are increasing. The numbers are increasing because they're testing more, but still we haven't even tested 2% of the population. To make matters worse, to make matters worse, I'm told that they're not. Some of the tests they have what they call false negatives, and about 15% of the people who take the tests come back false negative. That means they think that they're clean and don't have COVID-19, but in 15% of those tests, they actually do have it. Guys, we're not ready to open up like this. And I know the economy, it's a quandary. It's a mess because it got handled wrong from the very beginning. But y'all, we're not ready to open up like this. And the problem is we open up with no strategy, no plan. It's a complete dereliction of responsibility. I'm saying all that to say it's been said that when America catches a cold, Black America develops pneumonia. Family, this thing is serious. And I don't want us, I've been watching some pictures. Gresham Park, 5-10 minutes from my church this past Sunday, they had hundreds of people just out, just chilling, eating ice cream. I mean, like no mask, no PPE gear, no gloves, like it's nothing going on. And not just in our community, but other communities. But when I'm talking about my community, because it's affecting us more. 40% of the deaths in Illinois and Michigan are African American. Over 70% of the deaths in Louisiana are Black people, guys. And so it's not just about you going out having a good time. If you just gotta go to work, you gotta go to work. There's no other way. You gotta do what you gotta do. But hanging out at the park, just casual, like nothing is going on, is serious. So to that end, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, I'm having a conversation with a medical director of one of the leading hospitals here in Metro Atlanta. And she's going to come give us the real deal about what's happening. So you don't have to hear from Fox or CNN or MSNBC, all the messaging and different messages based upon the states. Every state has a different guideline. There's no sense of unity. There's no national plan. It's ugly and it's horrible. So if y'all can tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m., a very powerful conversation with Dr. Blake. It's going to be a blessed conversation at 10. And I just want to get the information out, guys. But we're not out of the water. Things are opening back up. But that the virus ain't going anywhere. The virus is still out there, guys.